This movie fucking sucks. It's awful.
Oh.
And you should not go see it.
I guess that's it then.
Is the TLDR. Here's the long version.
Filmed with IMAX 3D cameras.
You okay there?
I don't know where to start.
Well, let's start with the positives.
Okay, the positives. It was lacking some of the problems from the other movies.
That's a good start.
You could tell most of the robots apart.
Right.
And you could tell what was going on in most of the action scenes.
I agree. A lot less shaky cam than we usually get. This is actually not the worst one.
No, it really isn't.
Yeah.
It's about as bad as all of them, but, you know, on the micro scale of the Transformers movies...
Yeah.
It's one of the better ones.
Which is disappointing.
But it's kind of like saying that turd doesn't smell as bad as that other turd.
That's
it's
basically it, yeah.
World War II Bumblebee was pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah, and that World War I tank that Anthony Hopkins had.
Those are the positives!
Yeah. Now let's move on to the negatives.
So while it doesn't have those problems, it's definitely does carry over a whole bunch of problems from the other movies.
Right.
It's got pretty much no plot. Characters are all completely disposable. There's tons of racial stereotypes.
Mm-hmm.
The humor is inappropriate, unfunny, and the movie just goes on for way too long.
I will say on the topic of the humor, there were 3 times I chortled, and that is the best I will give this movie.
Okay. What were those times?
Oh, I don't fucking remember. That was the second half of my statement. I don't remember when I laughed. Oh, there was the one time
Look at this image here on the screen. I don't even know what it is. I don't know what it's going to be yet. It's the same stupid humor from all the other movies.
I laughed at the I like some of the banter between him and her. I can't remember the character names.
Cade Yeager is Marky Mark's name. I don't know her name.
Yeah, them. That was fun. Much better than the robot banter.
What's cracking, little bitches?
They really need to stop that nonsense.
Yeah. You've got John Goodman bot and Ken Watanabe bot.
Yeah.
And Optimus Prime, I guess, is in about 10 minutes.
Yeah. I count 12 if you include Nega Prime.
Oh, yeah, Nemesis Prime.
My name is Nemesis Prime.
Like, it just...
I don't think anyone's going to believe that was your voice. That's pretty spot on.
Autobots, transform and fuck them up.
That's basically it. They've ruined all the characters. They're just shells
Optimus
of what
Prime is this crazy, kill-happy, psychotic motherfucker.
Lunatic, yep. As he has been for the last couple movies.
Oh, yeah.
The Autobots, they're so good, you know, and there's a lot of bad in the world.
We will kill them all.
And it's like they're always doing the right thing.
You die!
No matter if it hurts them, harms them, they're always doing good.
No, Optimus!
And I think people like that.
Give me your face. Fatality.
The story was dead simple.
There was no story. Yeah.
Get the staff.
Yeah.
Get the staff, get the thing.
The MacGuffin.
But for some reason, the movie had to be 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
And you know, this is actually the second shortest one in the series.
Fucking seriously?
Yeah. The first one is shorter, but all of the other ones are longer. The fourth one is nearly 3 hours.
Why?
I don't know. Even with all of the just technically spectacular visual stuff going on the screen, it all just starts to blur together after a while, and it loses all meaning.
Yeah.
You're just bored by the end.
That's true. They just feel like monster movies. There's nothing that makes them unique as Transformer films.
No. During, like, the last shot of the movie, actually, when Optimus is driving away, my wife, she turned to me and said, that's the only time in the movie we've seen Optimus Prime as a truck.
Yep. Yeah. I turned to my girlfriend when Optimus Prime at one point uses his jetpack shoes to fly away. I turned to her and I said, I kind of wish he turned into a truck and flew away. But that's just it. The only time there was an actual unique bit of Transformer action was when Bumblebee is driving them through like the streets of London, and he pops into like half robot form and starts opening shots off at the cop. I forget what the... Barricade, thank you. Starts opening shots off at Barricade.
I don't know how I know that. I just know.
You just do. But more of that. That's what makes a cool Transformers action movie.
Yeah.
And not just another action movie.
Right.
Well, Optimus wasn't being controlled as much as he was under the influence of what's-her-face's...
Quintessa. So the villain of this movie, Quintessa, is... She created the Transformers. She's their god. And, I mean, not only does that contradict the first movie where it's stated that all the Transformers came from the giant cube.
Oh, yeah, the Allspark.
The Shia LaBeouf shoves into Megatron's chest at the end. And by the way, didn't the Allspark in that movie crash land on Earth millions of years ago?
Yeah.
The timeline of this movie is just silly. 1600 years ago, in the time of King Arthur, these quote-unquote ancient Transformers come to Earth to basically give Merlin his magic powers.
Right.
And when one shows up later on in the movie, Marky Mark takes a look at it and he goes, "This one's really old. He's older than Prime." And I'm like, but don't Transformers live to be millions of years old? 1600 years is nothing to a Transformer.
Well, the other big thing about that is that how the fuck do you know, Mark? How do you know?
Well,
how do you know?
Yeah, and Megatron had been on Earth since the Ice Age.
Hell yeah.
Megatron is older than these ancient knight Autobots that helped King Arthur. It's like, it's been 1600 years. It's nothing. That's like a week and a half to these fucking things.
Well,
it's...
Unless they had been there for longer, but the movie just didn't say it. Man, that doesn't make any goddamn sense.
No, it doesn't!
You can see how much attention that pays for the movie.
Why is... And they're propping up this King Arthur thing as, like, Anthony Hopkins says to Marky Mark, "Haven't you ever wondered why they keep coming to Earth? It's because they came all the way back in King Arthur's time."
You want to know, don't you, why they keep coming here?
Well, now they gotta come to Earth.
It's like they're not even fucking up the lore of Transformers.
Well, they're fucking up their own timeline.
Yeah! There's a bunch of random callbacks to the older movies, which serve nothing but to increase the running time. Josh Duhamel is in this movie. He's like a military guy who's chasing Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch around.
Yeah.
John Turturro is back. He's in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, conspiracy theorist as always.
Yeah. You see a picture of Shia LaBeouf briefly.
Right. Yeah. Haha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Callback. Hashtag callback.
Yeah.
Just want to say, technically speaking, from a filmmaking perspective, there were some things the movie did well.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Bay he's always been really good at setting up a shot.
Let's shake a cam. That's great, for example. Or things like, we got, Chekhov's gun happening with, like, the slow-mo gun. That was nice.
Oh, yeah, the slow-mo gun was
we
neat.
saw Hot Rod do his slow-mo thing at first, and it became important as time went on. You want to talk about Hot Rod for a second?
Hot Rod is a French stereotype.
He's a faux French Transformer.
Je m'appelle Hot Rod.
It was a terrible sequence. He might be able to set up a shot, but I don't think he can, light a shot and carry a camera through a shot without all the help he gets.
There's a reason why Michael brings all these people back. They have this crazy ability to put up with Michael Bay.
This has to be all grips on hand with this thing. It is not to move under the tail. Do you understand me? Yes, sir. All right, am I very clear? Yeah. Good.
I think he's got some good vision, probably. Otherwise, he really wouldn't be making all this money, but that's as far as I'm going to go as complimenting Michael Bay. I prefer his Bad Boys days. I might get shot for that. But
yeah,
I will say it's interesting watching him evolve as a director. He was decidedly an ass man right up until this movie, where he spent a lot more time on the chest area, I found.
Yeah. No, he's really maturing in his tastes.
He most certainly is. He's gone from the crop tops and short shorts to dresses and high heels.
Yeah.
But back to where the movie sucked, technically. The aspect ratios were going everywhere.
What was that? Was that because they were like filming in IMAX or something?
I think that was the case.
filmed with IMAX 3D cameras.
They were filming / rendering in IMAX. I have no idea what was going on there. And it's like, I've seen examples in like independent films where aspect ratio changes were used like thematically or whatever.
Sure.
It was pretty cool. They could have done something like that, but it was literally every other shot. Yeah, I know. Again, giving Michael Bay too much credit. I have no fucking idea what was going on over there.
Yeah, it was very noticeable and very distracting.
Yeah, no, it was terrible. Even honestly, some of the CG wasn't great. You could tell they were cheapening their approach a little bit. They were much farther away from the transformations that they would usually be a lot closer to. The big budget CG shots were obviously the end fight sequence.
Right.
And I feel like Bumblebee coming together.
Oh, yeah. Bumblebee does an Iron Man 3 thing where he just assembles himself.
God. He's immortal.
And this happens 30 seconds after a Transformer gets shot in the chest and dies.
Yeah.
Because he got shot in the chest and there's a little hole there.
Yeah.
And then Bumblebee gets blown to smithereens and every single part of him flies back together.
While being very conscious of where all the bad guys are to knock them out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I've always liked the audio. I can give compliments where they're due. I always like the audio for the Transformers movies. I felt like the transformation sound effects were always pretty on point, but it was all very lackluster here. You never really heard that sound of the
you
star
hear
screen
it one time.
Really?
You hear the like that sound?
I love that sound.
You hear that once, and it's when Anthony Hopkins' cane turns into a gun and he shoots Megatron.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Love that sound effect. It was one of the few good things about... I can't believe I'm even saying that sentence. That's how bad these movies are, that I have to compliment the sound design before I can compliment the plot, or the character arcs, or the deep storylines.
The deep wang.
I'm Wang. Deep Wang. Deep Wang. You're not getting it. Deep throat. Watergate.
It's just stupid. It also bothered me that as Cybertron draws ever closer to Earth, its gravitational pull doesn't completely destroy the ecosystem.
God, yeah. The movie ends with Cybertron, the remains of Cybertron
attached
to Earth. It's 1.5 planets now.
That's cool. It's not gonna fuck anything up. Don't worry, Earth is saved, guys. Nothing to worry about.
We need to work together now that our planets are one.
Like, it's
so bad. It's so stupid.
I'm not asking for the Dark Knight here. I get it. It's Transformers. They're silly. All I'm asking for is a movie about the Transformers.
Yeah.
Not the annoying people that they interact with, but the Transformers. That is not 6 hours long. That is not filled with horrible, insulting humor. And racism and sexism and pure cynicism.
Yeah.
And I think people like that.
That's all I want. Just, it doesn't need to be awesome. It just needs to not be horrible.
Right. Just be on the right side of good.
Yeah.
We're never going to get that.
I don't know. What's a good example of what I'm talking about?
Well, like King Arthur, I think, is an excellent example.
Sure, King
it's not
Arthur.
A good movie by any means, but it's a great action flick.
I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah.
I did not enjoy watching this.
Yeah. This is sad. We just want a good enough movie for Transformers. That's all we're saying.
I keep hearing this excuse over and over again. Well, what do you expect? It's Transformers. Transformers has always been dumb. But, you know, it has, but it was fun dumb.
Yeah.
This is...
And that's also not a fair excuse. I mean, when something changes the medium it's in, it has an opportunity to grow and develop and become more than. Better than, bigger than, right? And I feel like...
But it's like, I'm not even asking for that.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, one can hope for it, but that's my response to the people who are like, well, it's Transformers, what did you expect? That could have happened to Transformers. They could have become intelligent movies.
I mean, maybe.
They just didn't. It's about the motherfucking money, to quote Epic Rap Battles.
Whatever, they don't give a fuck. It's Transformers, the others all made money. It's just a stupid robot thing. Just put robots in it and ass shots and boob shots and toilet humor.
And that's really a cultural shift that's been happening with Hollywood, I think, for the last decade or half decade. With all the movies now, we're getting reboots and sequels and It's all just, it's Star Wars, they'll pay for it. It's Transformers, they'll pay for it. It's Marvel, they'll pay for it. It's DC, like, that's all the big budget blockbuster films. They've all just been that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what a shit show. This is, there are children starving around the world. And we're spending millions of dollars.
Hundreds Yeah. I guess we can wrap it up. I don't...
So in your heart of hearts, in your deepest of hearts, as a hardcore Transformers fan, where does this movie stand? Is it worth, half-price movie day?
No. You'd have to pay me to watch this again.
I mean, you could pay me to watch any movie, but I know what you mean.
No, don't go see it. Unless you liked all the other movies. Well, I mean, the first one is actually not bad.
Yeah, so if you liked 2 to 4.
If you liked Transformers 2 through 4, go check this one out. Why the fuck not?
Yeah.
You'll probably like it.
Yeah. Then you might enjoy this one. Then this movie was made just for you. That was Bull Session.
That was Bull Session.
That was Bull Session. Check out some of these movies that were infinitely better than Transformers.
Check out this video that I made.
Yep, link should be in the description below as well. It is definitely the best Transformers movie we have had in the last decade, I would say.
Oh, you flatter me.
You did all the voices for that as well, didn't you?
I did do all the voices.